Erica Hall, who is part of Mule Design in San Francisco, wrote this great book about conversational design. And I think in the future we'll be interacting with the computer much more with dialogue instead of an interface. And the storytelling is kind of overused, but like we need to find out what the user sees and not what the client sees, and then talk through that from the user's perspective. When we think traditionally how we designed web pages with boxes, we draw a rectangle and pretend this is the desktop. But these days, as you know, we have so many viewports, so many different sizes that we can't start like that anymore. Instead, we should design sort of a fluid design and responsive. There are not many breakpoints here. You can see one when it goes to the mobile, but otherwise it just stretch each module to sort of the min-max of it in any kind of shape of the website. Maybe in the future the screen might disappear completely. We never really had a conversation to an actual real human because we used sort of a interface to talk to the system. Before we just talk to each other face to face, there's a lot of clues we can get from just facial expressions or pauses or tones. On the telephone, we still have these, we still point at things even though we cannot see the other person. But now that we have communication with a lot more platforms, that we can do FaceTime, we can talk to Alexa, we can talk through a web page, we can talk through a chatbot. There are different ways that we need to build this conversation and write this text. So what is a valuable conversation to start with? First of all, we don't need to know everything. We need to have just the information that we're looking for, so the quantity should be limited to that. The quality is also important. We need to know that this is true, what we're hearing. And relationships play a part if you talk to audiences that are friends or parents or teachers or clients, will be a different tone in it. So the manner should be also brief, orderly, unambiguous. We don't want to hear an ideology. We don't want to hear you underlying overselling something. And there needs to be a politeness, so it needs to be quick, clear, context aware. And we don't like errors. We don't like to be thrown into a situation where we don't know where to go next. And the core values has to be something that you always have to write down first. So Google's core values haven't changed all this time. Erica describes coming to a website is like meeting your ski instructor for the first time. When you get there, you want to know that you came to the right person first in the introduction. The orientation would describe what you're going to be doing in this course. The action would be what you be able after this course to do, after you come to this website, what you can accomplish. And the guidance would be this instructor telling you what you did wrong and correct you to put you on the right path. On the website, you accomplish the goal with this. So on the home page, you want to know the strong impression, I came to the right place. Many people come in from different pages now through Google or other links, outside links. So you might want to rethink of having just the home page itself. Every other page might be similar to a home page. When you have a new app, you want to give a little bit of explaining. Otherwise, you don't want to like leave them completely lost. When you go to Twitter, I think it's a little ambiguous to see what's happening. If you don't know Twitter, but most people probably do at this point, but you don't know exactly what this means if you're a complete alien coming to this world. And the guidance would be giving feedback. So if you go into a page and nothing's happening, it's like your TV is frozen. So if a video is loading as a loading bar, it's giving some kind of feedback that you're supposed to wait. When you click on an interactive button, it gives you a hover function or an action, so you know that you clicked this button. And if you've completed the form, you need to have some kind of feedback coming back that, thank you, you completed this form, and what's going to happen, what you expect for it for next. That's the action and the guidance from the teacher, like giving you the right path to in this conversation with the computer. If you just drop somebody into a new environment, they might be completely lost. So you have to give them a little bit of guidance and anticipate that they make errors. You want to do it in baby steps that are easy to follow. If you watch an 8-hour movie, nobody will finish it. But if you have a series with 8 one-hour episodes, everybody will binge watch it. There is also an onboarding process where you don't want to overstep and become too personal. Here in the uncanny valley you've heard of, when a robot becomes too human-like, and then we feel a little bit freaked out by that. So most mass products talk to the widest audience possible, and their tone is so ununique. It's kind of a lonely state. So for a product, you might want to become more of have a somewhat of a personality in the language too. In this movie, Anomalisa, everybody's face looks the same. Or if you ever watched the movie Her, that's kind of another example of a movie where a digital assistant has a personality. And again, you need to clarify the values that you're talking about almost on every page of the website. If you keep that in mind, you can focus on what you're trying to accomplish at the end. So the right tone can be cute, but that same cuteness on a different website might be totally inappropriate. In different languages, they even have certain local dialects that they put into Alexa or Siri. So in German, or in the UK, they say blimey. And I just wanted to show you this, like in German, they say, die lachen ja die Hühner. Do you think what that expression could be? What does it mean? It means that this is so irrelevant, even the chicken will laugh about it. So humor is kind of difficult to put in because you don't know what situation the user is in this. So you want to be very careful with using too much humor on your website. But trust is really important because you want people to know that if they're leaving their credit card, they can trust you as an organization. You can often do that with putting some badges or certifications and some kind of guarantee that you can recall their transaction. But trust also, people will automatically trust if they see puppies and babies, not literally, but you could have a tone that kind of keeping that in mind. You want to avoid some of those ugly pitfalls like compelling, helpful, quick, innovative, smart, intelligent. Who wouldn't want to be that? So that doesn't set you apart. That's not a value. That's not a. So hot topics. One of my favorites is passionate. So you can be passionate on a date, but you should not be passionate about your product on the web. Submit is kind of ambiguous because you don't know what exactly means when you like sign up for something is maybe better than submitting something. You don't know, is this literally? Click here used to be in the old days. We know that we can click a button now. We don't need to write that anymore. Now, we changed from talking to a computer and the computer is talking back to us. So before we had all these accounts like my accounts, but now when the computer talks back like I'm opening my account, then that doesn't make sense anymore. So we kind of have to rewrite that your account or just replacing that with the name of the actual user, like opening the user's account, then it can go both ways. Otherwise, it doesn't make sound if we're having a conversation this way. So when somebody did this transaction, it's always a good thing to say thank you for their time and their effort. And a face will always make it more personal. They put a face over the tip jar in an office coffee machine, and of course, they ended up with more money.